And I think a lot of people get it twisted that, like, I bring this up as if I was, like, really struggling with alcohol. The truth is, I just got fucking sick of it. Like, I got tired of waking up on Saturday mornings and being hungover. I got tired of going to the bar all the time, spending all my money there. I got tired of all this other stuff, and I was just slowly on my way out the door from that lifestyle. And one day I went out, just had a rowdy, just a great old time with the boys, at this little, like, it's like a dive bar slash sushi spot. And I was supposed to wake up the next morning and go build a mailbox, and it was one of the first side jobs I'd ever really got, that I'd ever really, like, went and done. I was supposed to go do this thing. The mailbox was $1,500, so I was gonna pocket, $900 to $1,000. And it was this thing that, like, I was trying to build a life that I wanted, the life that I thought that I should have. And so that's why I was going and doing these side jobs, trying to build up all this cash, go buy a house, get married, do all those sort of things. And, like, that was on the other side of all this work, and I allowed myself to go out and, get a little too drunk, and I ended up with this 2-day hangover, and it delayed that job. And I remember sitting there come Sunday morning and just sitting there being like, why am I allowing this to control my life? Or not necessarily control my life, but why am I allowing it to get this inanimate object to get in the way of what I think I deserve? And that morning I decided I was never drinking again. It was like, that was April 11th, 5 years ago. I just quit. I was like, I'm done with this lifestyle. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to pursue the life that I think I deserve, and this is in the way. I know that, like, I was consuming alcohol habitually or socially. I was, just go out with the boys, or every time we go out to dinner, have a beer, or, every Friday, Saturday night, or, Wednesdays, dollar beers at the factory, pizza place, or just that sort of stuff. Like, we were having fun, right? But I was allowing it to be a roadblock in the way for what I really wanted out of life. So I made that decision to stop consuming alcohol, and then I went on to do a bunch more side jobs. I just, I counteracted the FOMO of, like, the fear of missing out of, like, what my boys were doing, or, like, what everybody else was doing, or how much fun they were having. I counteracted that with as much work as I could possibly pick up. I was working, anywhere from 5 to 7 days a week, every sun up to sundown. That was just what I wanted to go do, because I knew that if I went and did this, I could make all this money to go kind of start what we have now and put us on the right path. And so that kind of helped. Is like, there was a shirt that Trollco came out with that said, idle hands are the devil's tools, and that really stuck with me. So I was just like, I'll just stay busy, and I got through it, and all that sort of stuff. That was ended up being the first year I ever made over 6 figures. We ended up buying this place, ended up getting engaged and married shortly after. This whole social media thing kind of blown up, all this sort of stuff. And so it really was, there was a lot of stuff on the other side of this action. And so I post about it every time it gets my anniversary, because maybe it's some form of encouragement to certain people that maybe they're struggling with alcohol, or maybe alcohol is a roadblock in your life. And it's, maybe it's a little bit of motivation or inspiration to, hey, if you're on the fence about this, you're like, what should I take this step forward, or, what could be possible, or, like, maybe you have FOMO and you don't want to miss out on what everyone around you's doing and all that sort of stuff. But I try to post about this every once in a while, especially being in the trades. Like, our industry suffers, I think it's the second highest drug and alcohol abuse rate And so it's definitely a world, like, I grew up in on job sites and everything and seen everybody else, so like I know that we all struggle with this in one way or another. And so maybe it's just some inspiration that if you've been thinking about it, if you've been thinking about pursuing sobriety, like there's so much on the other side of it that, as long as you're willing to take the action and put in the work and, you know, fill that now empty space with something productive, and, you know, keep your hands busy, keep your mind busy, and keep working toward a goal and the life that you think you deserve,